Well, hello there, humans, bees, earthlings, wherever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and whoever you're lucky enough to be doing it too. I'm Bushcon Blitz. Welcome back to the channel. This is fantastic. This is Ty Lockwood in the VK4503. This is 02A, sorry. This is amazing for me. I'm doing a video today on some of the tanks that just don't get mentioned, and tanks indeed that I think are pretty crap. And I have been inundated. It is a veritable tsunami of World of Tanks Blitz replays, and as you can see from this, the quality is great now. I can do really good quality replays from really good quality subscribers and put them up on channel and talk about the tanks and the games, and I'm like, Blitz jingles. It's very, very exciting. Ty's game is particularly poignant for me for two things. He plays really, really well, but one, it's the VK45, which I think is rubbish, but he can perform some big deal tanking stuff. Secondly, he gets flogged pretty hard and then gets some clutch Spartan-like bounces, some real Gangdarf doing the thou shalt not pass. And notice I said Gangdarf, not Gandalf, because Gangdarf is in the esports arena. The 4502 is a tank that I've often berated for just not being good enough compared to its compatriots, for being not heavium enough to be a heavium, but not medium enough to be a medium. It doesn't have the best of both worlds, but you wouldn't know it from this game here. This game is an attribute to, I mean, you can see Ty's side scraping. He's playing at second line as a heavy now because he doesn't have the hit points, but he was certainly up on the front line for a bit, and he did get punished for it, but he also got some good bounces as well. Now, the whole set of videos that I'm about to show you, all three of them, are tanks that I've really given a serve to, and one that I haven't, but I've never driven. I've never showed it, I've never featured it, because it's a bit of a rarity and an obscure tank. Clutch bounce number one. 225 bounce from that Pershing with 66 hit points remaining. Clutch bounce. And then he finishes Das Poot. Not Das Boot, but Das Poot finishes him. Ty's now pushing on up through to the spawn. Now, the VK does have a very steep upper plate when angled correctly, but it can be, super clutch bounce number two. Thanks, Stalin, for the gun handling. 400 bounce. So he's bounced 665 potential damage there, while having 66 hit points. And the grub doesn't know when to sit down. He immediately goes into side scrape mode. Lovely play there, by the way, too. Didn't just back off completely and leave everyone alone. He decided to keep using his gun, swinging the gun that had been left in the game. This 34-1 is pushing up for the kill shot. No thank you, says Ty Lockwood. It's all over for you. Now, if your video was not featured, it's not because it wasn't a good video. I have been doing, I've been receiving videos for under a day, and I've probably received 100 replays so far. And some of them I just won't get a chance to feature, despite the fact that they are amazing games, because quite a few of them are tanks which I've just featured or just done. And some of them are tanks that people kind of are a bit bored of seeing, but for all that, if the game's good enough, or at least interesting enough, I'll certainly feature it. And there you go. Well done, Ty. Now, Ty also included the battle results screen. I didn't get the screen with all the bling on it, but it was a mastery game. And so it should be, with 4,000 damage in a Tier 8 VK4502A. And all those ballsy bounces too. Didn't take a backward step, the young man, so well done him. Now, this is a really cool game, because I don't have much, if any, footage of this very, very rare tank on the channel. Like, it's super cool. Like, the whole Star Wars theme looks amazing, and the Schmaltzy pumps out the damage. And look at the X-Wing, I love it. Just looks amazing. The TIE Fighter look. Now, this is Port Bay, but this is kind of a weird spot to be on Port Bay. So you don't want to be there too long. You've got to push on down. And it is a Tier 6 game. Now, this is a Tier 6 tank. What this tank has going for it, in no uncertain terms, is a tremendous amount of damage. It can really pump out and sting. Now, this Panzer IV-S is driven by the Rathian. Now, the Rathian has been around the YouTube channel and the YouTube community forever. Very good player, and this game is certainly a testament to that fact. He's running the Panzer IV-S on Port Bay, and he's taking no Blackwood steps, but what he's also doing is dealing with a Type 59, who just won't sit still and is being a very, very tough nut to crack. Now, the team is crumbling just a touch. They're 2 tanks down, but his platoon mate in the VK2801 pumps on through and gives him a hand. Now, the Rathian is in what I would term a very strong premium tank. This tank can certainly output damage, but to win this game, he's going to have to focus and perform some Herculean tanking efforts. And he's in not a bad vehicle to do just that. The 4S is a little bit of an unsung hero. It's quite rare to find one on the battlefield. But when you do, you should pay close attention to it, because unlike a lot of premium tanks, it's not a gutted, watered down version of a tank. It is actually a superbly effective German medium with 10 degrees of gun depression and a Viper-like 75mm gun. And you can see how quickly he is getting these shots off. 4.4 seconds between each round means that at the end of the day, the Rathian can pump out about 2,200 damage per minute. And considering that some of these tanks only have 1,000 hit points for like the tier 7 heavies or the tier 6 heavies, up to 700 for the lower end tier 7 heavy hit point pool over there with the T1 heavy, that is a big ding. And the gun depression and quick agile handling means the Rathian is just going backwards and forwards here and farming up damage deluxe. And hitting shots like that on the weak cheek point of the Frenchie there is a big thing. Now, he's going to have to Kolobanov to clear this. Oh, lovely no-scope indeed. And then he gets another one off very, very quickly, every 4.4 seconds before the bad guys can get to him. Big shot in the KV2, 25 hit points left. Come on, buddy, you can do this, hit it, bounce, clutch, 905 on the pool. He's got to clear this, gets the engine damage. That Jagdpanzer IV's engine is screwed. If you've ever driven that tank, you would know it's an absolute barn burner. It's a tinderbox. The Rathian goes up again. Massive. How clutch can you be? You can be this clutch. 6 kills. Kolobanovsky, the whole 9 yards. Absolutely no doubts that one was a mastery game. And this is one of the things I love about this new replay system. I'm able to put into a real effective format some of the tanks that you guys just don't get a chance to see, because I just can't drive everything. I don't have the man hours to put in the time to pull out these massive games, but they're great to watch. And they're like the pinnacle of tanking. And it's great to be able to take some of the finest moments that we as a community have in the game and actually highlight and feature them. I'm really enjoying this. So I'm going to try and build around these now and give them a certain je ne sais quoi, a sang-froid. No, a certain theme or character. And obviously the theme and character for this one is I chose 3 tanks from the massive pool of replays I already have that just haven't been featured much on channel. And this, boys and girls, is good for me because this is massive humble pie. I have talked more crap about this tank, the WZ-120, than, any other tank in the game. I mean, I've had issues with the 183. I've talked about how underpowered some other tanks are, but I've just said this tank's bad from the get-go. I've rubbished it. I've talked all the way down about it. And that's fair enough, because I think it's bad. But you know what? Watch this one, boys and girls. This is actually one of 2 replays sent in by AK-47 Rifle that were pretty amazing. I may actually feature the other 2. May actually feature the other one. It was amazing. And this is Himmelsdorf. Now, Himmelsdorf, you might say, well, it's not a great map for medium tanks. It's not a horrible map for all medium tanks, but it's certainly a good map for this medium tank. In fact, the WZ-120 is probably the most suited to Himmelsdorf Tier 9 medium that you can get your hands on. This thing has a very strong turret, It's got a big 400 alpha damage gun that allows it to trade with heavy tanks in terms of peekaboom, and it's so mobile and agile that it's very hard for any tank that doesn't have a direct shot at its lower chassis to get the gun to work and to actually break it and break it down. But the damage output that he has managed to accrue with this hopeless WZ-120 actually is great, because it's making me eat a whole lot of crow and humble pie. And AK-47 rifle can drive this thing to within an inch of its life. I should probably feature the second game as well, just to highlight how much better this guy is than I am at getting value for money out of a dirty, underachieving Chinese medium. And it just goes to show, and there is no way around it, that some tanks suit some people, and this tank does not suit me, but it suits AK-47 rifle down to the ground. In the future, I'm going to use these replays to actually do whole reviews of tanks, talk through the pros and cons of tanks, their gun depression, their armor profile, and then give you a look at how the average player and the best players and the players who overachieve on their day and the players who are consistently excellent use those tanks, and get a little bit of the nuance and the feel for the vehicle from a wider variety of sources. And I think that can only be good for us as a YouTube and Blitz community. So there you go, 5,252 damage on a Himmelsdorf game with the WZ-120. Absolutely deserving of a mastery and a massive high caliber achievement. Keep the replays rolling in, boys and girls. AK-47 rifle, hats off to you, amigo. That was excellent work. Remember to include the name of the tank in the subject line along with Blitz replays. The Blitz replays is the subject line, and then the name of the tank and a little bit about the battle. Not a huge amount, just a little bit. We'll try and get to them. There are so many. I've already got like 100, and obviously I'm sifting through them on a daily basis. Look after yourselves, guys, and until next time, stay safe on the battlefield.